Now at 11, the clock is ticking for pro-Palestinian protesters to take down their encampment on the UW campus. Tonight, why they say there's still more work to do.
The end of this encampment is not the end of the movement for Palestine.
This summer is going to be our busiest year on record without question.
Get ready to share the air and the road. A look at new numbers predicting record-breaking travel this summer and how much it'll cost you. Then at 11:15, the Biden-Trump rematch is heating up. The strategy for both candidates as they struggle to maintain support from within their own parties. Komo News at 11 starts now. We begin with breaking news out of Iran. The country says its president, Ibrahim Raisi, along with the foreign minister and others, have been found dead after their helicopter crashed in the northwest part of the country. Rescue crews searched for hours through the foggy, mountainous region where that crash happened. It comes amid a tense time in the Middle East. Just over a month ago, Iran launched hundreds of drones and missiles at Israel in an attack that was ultimately thwarted. Iran's state media has not released any details on what may have caused the crash. And also breaking tonight, WSDOT says they are looking for a missing plane near Snoqualmie Pass. A small plane left Arlington Municipal Airport around 4:30 this afternoon and was headed for Ephrata. The pilot is the only person on board. He was reported missing by his wife around 6 o'clock this evening. Officials say he does have a parachute. WSDOT says it hasn't received any communication from that plane, and now emergency beacon signals have been received. WSDOT says search efforts will continue throughout the night. The pro-Palestinian encampment is slowly beginning to come down, still at the University of Washington tonight, but time is running out. As part of an agreement with the university, they now have just 15 hours to clear out. Thanks for joining us. I'm Michelle Esteban. The decision to dismantle the camp also follows safety concerns and an escalation in graffiti, some of which was described as violent and anti-Semitic by UW's president. Komo's Jackie Kent went to the quad tonight, and Jackie, a big part of that encampment is already gone.
Right, Michelle, we're estimating a few dozen tents remain at the quad. That is a significant drop from the more than 100 we've seen in recent weeks. People we talked to today who have been camping out, some of them for 3 weeks, tell us they will be clearing out their tents, belongings, and trash by the deadline, which is 3 p.m. on Monday.
I've been sleeping in a sleeping bag for 3 weeks, and I was out here running a small kitchen and serving people dinner and lunch whenever I could.
What was a sprawling pro-Palestinian encampment at UW with hot food and even medical care is starting to come down. The protesters packed up their tents and tossed trash in full bags and large bins following an agreement with the university.
It's obviously not a victory.
The group, the United Front for Palestinian Liberation, has said it will voluntarily end the encampment, clean up the quad, and will not reestablish the camp. In return, the university agrees to create a divestment committee with protesters, scholarships for students from Gaza, and to not cite the campers, among other things.
We're going to have the Board of Regents meeting coming up on June 13th. You know, divestment's going to have to be in their agenda, and I'm hoping that they vote a certain way.
The so-called liberated zone caused plenty of tension since it was set up in late April, including a standoff with counter-protesters.
I'm standing up against anti-Semitism.
We were there at the start of the encampment when someone stole this student's flag of Israel.
They can't let me just peacefully hold my flag. I wasn't bothering anyone.
There's no character involved in genocide and supporting genocide. You're just supporting genocide.
The Jewish Federation of Greater Seattle also urged UW to take action regarding anti-Semitic graffiti, some of which remains on the brick buildings and campus walkways. As the last of the campers are set to grab their belongings, some protesters tell us their work is not over.
What's next?
I'm gonna be going back to my apartment for the first time in a while, really be able to sit down for a bit, and then it's right back to organizing and right back to fighting.
And in a message to students, faculty, and staff on Friday, the UW president wrote that they will be closely monitoring this encampment removal and that they also recognize that there may be some individuals outside of the UW community who may refuse to depart. Of course, we're keeping an eye on any developments and keep you updated. For now, live in Seattle, Jackie Kent, Komo News.
All right, that we will, Jackie. Thank you. Surveillance video shows the moment a suspect started shooting at a car multiple times in a restaurant parking lot. This is in Renton, and it happened around 10 last night in the 100 block of Airport Way. Renton police say a 19-year-old was found dead inside that car. They said some sort of altercation took place before the shooting.
A 19-year-old kid, he had his whole life ahead of him, and now it was cut down because of an argument, and somebody needed to pull out a gun.
Renton PD also tells us another victim was assaulted by a group of men between the ages of 25 and 50. Right now, they don't know exactly how many people were involved. They're still trying to determine the relationship between the victims and the group of men. Former chairman of Seattle-based Nordstrom has died. The company announced Bruce Nordstrom died at his home yesterday at 90 years old. In a statement, Nordstrom's sons, Eric and Pete, said, quote, "Our dad leaves a powerful legacy as a legendary business leader, a generous community citizen, and a loyal friend." Under Bruce Nordstrom, the company went public in 1971 and expanded from a regional outlet to a national chain. During Bruce's tenure, the store also launched the lower-priced Nordstrom Rack. Let's get to a traffic alert tonight. The I-405 off-ramp in Tukwila closed to State Route 181. The closure will last until 4:30 in the morning tomorrow while crews seal cracked pavement. Detours are in place. This time next weekend, our roads, airports, and even our ferries are going to be busy as people travel for the Memorial Day weekend. WashDOT posted travel charts for the Memorial Day weekend on X. I-5 southbound between Tacoma and Lacey, you can see here, will be one of the worst for long travel times. WashDOT says to expect 12 hours of congestion. That's on Thursday from 7 in the morning until 7 at night. I-90 eastbound from North Bend to Cle Elum also expected to be very busy. And it's expected to be the most congested on Friday. That's from 10 in the morning to 8 p.m. Let's take a live look for you now at SeaTac Airport. I know you're thinking about that as well, where 760,000 passengers expected to pass through between this Thursday and following Monday. Friday will be the busiest day with 173,000 people expected to arrive, depart, or connect through SeaTac. The TSA is gearing up for a record travel season this summer. Komo's Lee Stoll has a look at what to expect.
If you're packing for a summer trip, be ready for the airport to be packed as well. The TSA expects summer travel volumes will be up 15% this year, with some days expected to top 3 million passengers across U.S. airports. SeaTac Airport handled a record 15.3 million passengers last year from June to August.
This summer is going to be our busiest year on record without question.
It starts with Memorial Day weekend in 2 weeks. Last summer was a disappointment for many affected by massive flight delays and cancellations. This summer, airlines say they're ready for the increased demand.
We added pilots, we've added flight attendants. We're flying about 5% more flights with larger aircraft. We're fully staffed. We're ready to go.
But the FAA says it's still about 3,000 air traffic controllers short of staffing goals. On the road, AAA expects a record-breaking number of road trips this year. More than 38 million people will head out over the Memorial Day weekend alone. But get ready to pay more to fill up. According to AAA, the national average for a gallon of regular gas is $3.60. That's up 7 cents from a year ago. In Washington, the state average is $4.60, almost identical to last year. But diesel fuel is more than 30 cents cheaper than at this point in 2023. I'm Lee Stoll, Komo News.
Lee, thanks very much. Happening tomorrow, there are several developments we are tracking in multiple local murder cases. The murder trial for Auburn police officer Jeffrey Nelson will pick back up again tomorrow. Nelson accused of shooting and killing 26-year-old Jesse Surrey while trying to arrest him for disorderly conduct back in May of 2019. Surrey was unarmed. Nelson expected to testify at some point during that trial. And a murder trial is scheduled to begin in Bellingham tomorrow. Shiloh Englert was arrested for the murder of 31-year-old Cassandra Booker. That was back in February of 2022. You see her there. She was found shot to death in the stairwell of an apartment building. He was arrested weeks later. Also tomorrow, the King County Prosecuting Attorney's Office will hold a hearing where they plan to charge Liam Krieger with the murder of Paul Ewell and ask that he be held with no bail. Ewell was the homeless man found dead at the Seattle Choir Association on First Hill. That was back on February 10th. Krieger was arrested in March for a different murder. Police say Krieger killed Daravuth Vaughn, near Seattle Town Hall. That was on First Hill. Vaughn was also homeless. Sean Diddy Combs is addressing the disturbing video showing him attacking an ex-girlfriend. What he's saying about his actions and what legal documents reveal about the incident. Plus,
President Biden reaching out to groups of voters that appear to be slipping from his grasp. I'm Christine Frizzell with a look at the state of the 2024 presidential race.
We have dried out, and now we're looking at mostly clear skies, but that's going to cloud up a little bit. I'll show you how much sunshine we'll get for the day ahead coming up in your forecast.
those stories and more when Komo News continues.
I was disgusted then when I did it. I'm disgusted now. I'm so sorry.
New at 11, rapper Sean Diddy Combs apologizing for and admitting to beating his ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura. It comes just 2 days after disturbing surveillance video. You see it right here. It shows Combs attacking Ventura at a Los Angeles hotel. This was back in 2016.
My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video.
In a lawsuit settled last year, Ventura claimed Combs was intoxicated and punched her in the face, giving her a black eye. At the time, Combs' attorney stated this: Mr. Combs vehemently denies these offensive and outrageous allegations. That lawsuit settled for an undisclosed amount. This is just the latest legal drama for Combs. In March, federal authorities raided his home in L.A. and Miami as part of a human trafficking investigation. Now, no charges have been filed against Combs in that case. China's Ministry of Commerce has announced sanctions against Boeing and 2 other defense companies for arms sales in Taiwan. It comes the same day as Taiwan's new president's inauguration. It is the latest in a series of sanctions announced by Beijing against companies selling to Taiwan, which China considers part of its own territory. With less than 6 months to go before the presidential election, the candidates are gearing up. The current president working to shore up voters as polls show him lagging behind the former one. National correspondent Christine Frizzell brings us a look at the strategy and how it's all playing out. That's new at 11.
President Biden's message at historically black Morehouse College centered on hope for a better future, delivered as he struggles to reconfigure the impact of his past.
Faith asks you to hold on to hope, to move heaven and earth, to make better days. Well, that's my commitment to you. To show you democracy, democracy, democracy is still the way.
Biden also calling for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza, a nod to an issue dividing his party, his support for Israel as it continues an all-out war in Gaza. The situation at the southern border, as well as the economy, additional threats to Biden winning a second term, with waning support from 2 essential groups of voters, young people and African Americans, who critics predict will back Donald Trump in larger numbers this November.
Black Americans are no different than any other Americans. They know what it feels like when they have to go fill up their gas tank.
For the Biden campaign, the last few months have been a game of whack-a-mole of sorts, trying to put out political fires. This past week, surprising many by challenging Donald Trump to 2 debates. Trump accepting, also hinting over the weekend that he sees a long political future for himself.
You know, FDR, 16 years, almost 16 years. He was 4-term. I don't know, are we going to be considered 3-term or 2-term?
Speculation growing that Biden may change course if the debate in June doesn't go well for him.
The fact that people are saying it's a terrible economy for them, the fact that they have said they don't have any confidence that Joe Biden can fix it. I'm starting to wonder if there's a real possibility that Joe Biden will not be the Democrat nominee.
After his commencement address at Morehouse College, President Biden delivered a speech at the annual NAACP dinner in Detroit. Yet another example of him reaching out to groups of traditionally Democratic voters he hopes will show up to support him in November. I'm Christine Frizzell reporting.
Jeff Bezos-backed Blue Origin rocket company sent a crew to the edge of space today. It comes nearly 2 years after a failed uncrewed test flight grounded operations. This is Blue Origin's 7th human flight. Check it out. New video shows a meteor lighting up the sky over Spain last night. The footage captured by scientists at the Spanish National Research Council. Others captured the scene on social media from both Spain as well as Portugal. These are some of the images. The European Space Agency says it was a piece of a comet traveling at about 100 miles per hour. And check this one out. You can see the comet pass over as this woman looks on amazed. Here she is. Okay, talk about a close call and cool science. Something to talk about for sure. Pretty cool stuff. All right, we got a case of weather whiplash. I can actually feel it in my neck. We are looking for some more sunshine and maybe some warmer temps. You got it?
We got about a day of that. A day of that left, and then we're going to be on the roller coaster. We're going to ride the roller coaster of temperatures as we start to warm up nicely into the average highs in the upper 60s tomorrow. We may start out with some clouds, but right now we've got mostly clear skies. 53 degrees at the waterfront in Seattle with a light west-southwesterly wind. Onshore wind bringing off the cool air from the Pacific Ocean will bring in the low marine clouds to start the day for many spots. But for the overnight lows, we'll be cooling down eventually into the upper 30s to mid 40s. Not quite as chilly as we were this morning, but temperatures around the cities definitely on the milder side in the mid 40s. Outlying spots around Shelton and Hood Canal in the upper 30s. But here we're going to ride the temperatures. Hold on, because tomorrow is going to be sunny. It's going to feel great. 67 degrees expected high temperature. And then we drop. Tuesday drops us down into the low to mid 50s and rain starts to move in as well. You'll see that this stretch of some wetter weather is going to be with us for a couple of days, and that's going to impact our high temperatures mainly Tuesday, Wednesday. We'll start to move back up in the mid 60s on Thursday and then cool a little bit Friday as rain comes back into the picture. Our next weather maker's high pressure. That's what kept us nice this afternoon, put an end to the showers tonight, and this is going to bring us the warmer, sunny day on our Monday, partly to mostly sunny, because the next weather maker is going to weaken the high pressure as low pressure starts to drop right out of the British Columbia coast on top of us later Tuesday into Wednesday. Rainy, cooler, and breezy as we get Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, and then Wednesday afternoon, that system moves out and we're going to start to dry again. So you're starting to put the pattern together a little bit. Sunny, warmer, and dry tomorrow. Wet, breezy, cooler Tuesday and part of Wednesday. Drier and warmer on Thursday. And then back to some early shot of rain showers as we get into Friday. And that takes us right to Memorial Day weekend, which Saturday will still have some showers around and temperatures still cool in the upper 50s. We're working our way up towards Memorial Day itself, which gradually brings us improving weather, a little more sun later in the day Sunday, and back to the normal temperatures in the upper 60s with sunshine on Memorial Day Monday. So for tomorrow, highs are going to hit right around Bellevue, 66, and around Edmonds near the water into the low 60s. Now we'll be in the low 60s also around Bellingham, but Mount Vernon towards Arlington, mid 60s, mid 50s on the beaches, and upper 60s for the Southwest Washington interior. East of the Cascades, prepare for frost in the morning up to the north, especially in the mountains, but temperatures otherwise in the 70s with the sun. And our 7-day forecast for Seattle, well, there you see your Tuesday. That's going to be cool. It's going to be rainy, but at least showers wrap up on Wednesday afternoon and temperatures start coming back. As Friday moves in, we do have a slight risk Friday and Saturday of a thunderstorm in the Cascades. So I just want to have you keep that in mind, especially because I know a lot of folks like to go camping or hiking on Memorial Day weekend, prepping for that Friday, Saturday. Otherwise, this is looking like a typical spring forecast. It's just a roller coaster ride from tomorrow to Tuesday. We're going to feel the drama. I just know it.
Yeah, I know it too. And kudos to you on your graphics. I love the roller coaster.
Yeah.
I got the message. Thanks very much, Rebecca. Boy, it is a new era ahead for the Seahawks, who we are keeping a close eye on ahead of big changes for the Hawks. The Komo Sports Desk is just ahead.
And now, the Komo Sports Desk, presented by Xfinity.
Welcome back. The Seattle Reign returned home to Lumen Field today. Unfortunately, they had a true powerhouse to deal with, an undefeated Orlando Pride. The Pride proved why they are just so tough, scoring twice in the first half. It wouldn't be till just before halftime that the Reign would get on the board with a shot from Angharad James. The Reign looked like that would be their comeback. They tied it up right at the top of the second half with a goal by Bethany Balser. But the Pride answered back with a goal by Barbara Banda in the 58th minute. That would prove to be the Rain's undoing. The Pride take this one 3-2. They're back in action Friday afternoon at 4:30, taking on the Washington Spirit. The Storm appear to be finding their footing, snagging their first regular season win in D.C. today. Take a look. Things started pretty tight and then continued that way for most of the matchup. The Storm were finally able to pull way from the Mystics in the fourth quarter. Storm guard Jewel Lloyd was on fire today. She put up 24 points to help give the Storm an 84-75 victory. They're back in action against New York Liberty. That's going to happen tomorrow afternoon at 4. Things not looking so great for the Mariners today. Their hot streak cooling off a bit. They were unable to topple the Orioles in the series out in Baltimore. The O's Gunnar Henderson was the MVP of this one, scoring a homer in the first inning. He now leads the league with, get this, 15 home runs. The M's would eventually be down 5-1 and were never able to make up that deficit. Despite winning their last 2 series, the Mariners fall to the O's 6-3, but they still hang on to that first place spot in the AL West. The M's continue their road trip on the East Coast, kicking off a 4-game series with the Yankees tomorrow afternoon. The game time is 4:05. We're back in 15 seconds.
Any people freaking. Gotcha. It's okay. We do commercial plumbing and residential electrical too. Hey, wait. Stop freaking. Stop beeping.
Tomorrow officially begins a new era for the Hawks. It is the first of 10 organized team activities, or OTAs, under new head coach Mike Macdonald. Macdonald has a lot to prove. Obviously, some big shoes to fill, taking over for the only coach to bring the Hawks a Super Bowl championship, Pete Carroll. But it's his first year as a head coach, not just for the NFL, but on any level. Also, watch closely are the Hawks' 2 quarterbacks. Of course, returning 2-year starter Geno Smith and newcomer from the Washington Commanders, Sam Howell. Tomorrow's OTAs closed to the media, but we will be there Wednesday to get a sneak peek of what the Hawks have to offer in the upcoming season. Much more ahead. We'll be right back.
So tomorrow morning, low clouds in places. Starting out in the mid-40s, we're going to warm up into the mid to upper 60s tomorrow. Partly to mostly sunny skies. A gorgeous Monday out there. But the roller coaster ride takes us back down to the 50s Tuesday with rain. So seize the day. Carpe diem on Monday.
Yeah, great way to start the week. Thanks very much. Game stopper. A rogue raccoon ran onto the field and interrupted the match against New York City FC last week. Yeah, that guy right there. The animal evaded capture for more than 2 long minutes. Managed to run the length of the pitch before the grounds crew captured him with a trash can. According to the league, he set a record for the most seconds spent on the field by a raccoon in MLS history. I hope he's the only one. And now, Racino the raccoon, Megan Rapinoe, Racino the raccoon, that's his own trading card. Can you believe it?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, you can
Yes.
believe it. Those things happen, absolutely. So glad you're with us. Thanks for joining us tonight. We're back next weekend.
Good night.